You're listening to iFanboy Pick of the Week, episode 1003. My name is Connor Kilpatrick. This is Josh Flanagan.
Hi there.
And we are iFanboy. Welcome to iFanboy 2025. We're almost done with our 20th year of doing the show. It's in our 20th year of doing iFanboy. That means that every week for 25 years, one of us has picked the book they like the best. From that stack of books, one of us reads all of those books. You can tell when we start getting towards the end of the year, my brain starts going.
You're struggling.
Tired. You're tired. That's why we need the break. Anyway, we take our comics, we read our comics. One of us picks their favorite comic. We call it the book, the pick of the week. That's what we do on the show. We're doing it for 25 years or 20 years, depending on how you do math. We'll talk about that book, other books from the week, the patron pick, some listener mail. We're going to have fun. It's going to be fun. We're going to make you have fun. Here's your spoiler warning. Exercise some caution for your books. Josh, I will admit, when you sent over the picks, I was like, and I hadn't read the books yet, or the books that.
Good thing I have the pick this week.
I hadn't read the DC books yet when you sent the picks over, so I hadn't read it yet. But I was legitimately surprised when you told me what the pick was.
Me too. So the pick of the week is Supergirl number 7, and you're like me, and you're like Connor. You're like, really? And it was not an obvious thing. When I was reading, I didn't finish, and I was like, "Oh, that's a picker," I did I finished I finished early. I just want you to tell because I don't do things early. So I'm very, very proud. Early. It was like noon on Wednesday, and I was like, I don't want to have to do the hustle. And I was sort of looking over everything, and I decided I was like, you know what? I'm going for Supergirl 7 because it was a lot of things, and I think it surprised me a couple of times. So here's the deal. It is a holiday issue. A lot of times holiday issues are trite and stupid, and this was in its way, but not in a bad way necessarily. But what you have here is basically there is a Thanksgiving over at Supergirl's house, the Danvers, house. Right? Yeah. Well, does she have her own house? Not in this book. She lives at that house.
She moved home in this book, so right. Technically it's her house.
She's at home, and they've sort of
paying a mortgage though.
In what is this? 7 issues we've got. They've come up with a little cast of characters. There's Supergirl, and there's Larsa, and then there's the Lex Luthor's daughter, whose name I don't remember. Lena Luthor. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. And Sophie Campbell writes and draws this. And right away, just like. I'm like, man, she's crazy talented. Like to just sort of be able to do.
The art's so good.
Yeah, it's great, and it's just because she's telling her own story. If I actually look at the pages, like, man, there's a lot of words, but I really didn't feel it. So Superman and Lois drop by for Thanksgiving, and I was like, he can't hang out there all day, but whatever. Also, very funny is that Superman is at the door in Superman costume with Lois. That's
right. Okay. I thought there was some really lax secret identity security going on in this comic.
Yeah. So,
because who are those people coming to? They don't know who's coming to dinner.
Yeah, but it's like whatever though, because it's kind of sweet. And what
about all those ring cameras outside capturing Superman and Lois Lane arriving at the Danvers' house for
blurring his face? And then Larsa, the fake Supergirl, who's got a stick up her butt, which is huge. The butt, because they draw her very anyway, not the point. She hates Superman. She's really annoyed at him because of all these perceived slights that he had towards Kara, some of which are real. Supergirl disappears. I'm just telling you all these things because it sort of will come together. Supergirl disappears into the ocean for some reason because Princess Shark.
She gets turned into a mermaid.
Yeah. Princess Shark turns her into a mermaid, and there's a problem. They have to defeat a sea witch to defeat a curse or whatever. And there's this thing that goes on at the beginning where some of the people are like, well, what are you coming by for Thanksgiving? It's like, oh, it's a stupid holiday for this or that. And what my initial thought is like, oh, you're doing this thing and I am this person to a certain extent, but not anymore. Like, they're like, well, here's all the bad things about Thanksgiving. And I was like, all right, I know. I don't need you to tell me in the comic books about the bad history of everything, America, whatever. And then one thing that happened that I thought was really interesting is that they had 2 people complain about it from 2 different ways, and some people were saying it was straight, and then by the end all of the characters sort of went, you know what, we should just be together though, that's what's important. I was like, there you go. And it really, what it did on the surface, I thought it was going to be something that I've read a lot of times, that it kind of fits awkwardly in comic books, and instead what it did was it turned it into this thing about here's what's really important about the people around you, your chosen family, your real family or whatever. And sort of that spirit of Superman and Clark Kent in a character who is not Clark Kent, but does have that inherent goodness to be like, I'm gonna, we're gonna invite Princess Shark and maybe even the witch. I'm not sure if the witch was invited. I don't remember.
Hard to
But
tell.
looking past the obvious thing that's going on, and I think there's a great scene, the way that Superman handles Larsa, and he understands what she's mad about, and he even kind of is like, yeah, I made some bad decisions when I was younger about how I treated Kara, and I just thought it was sweet, and it was the right note, and I thought this book is doing, it's occupying a space that a lot of books aren't, in that it's a good comic book. Like, we read mainstream superhero comic books all the time, and it's good like that, but also it has an all ages sort of vibe to it. It's kind of got a little of everything at a high quality of craft, and without being, I don't know, it treads the line with sort of being classic and also sort of being unique and original at the same time. And I think it's a special creator and time and all things happening at the same time. It's different than the other books I'm reading. And when I got through it, I was like, when I was looking at my whole list, I was like, I think I really enjoyed this more, because it surprised me a couple of times in the middle by taking left turns where you were like, all right, turn's totally going to happen here, but in a way that was very organic.
There are at least 4 people at this dinner table scene that I don't know who they are, and I feel like Clark should be more concerned about his identity. Anyway, I was of 2 minds about this book. I really, at the end, came to really enjoy it, but um, I'm ready to send her entire supporting cast into the sun. Like, I don't care. Like, Larsa is so fucking annoying. I didn't like her when they originally introduced her. Then she became a villain, and I was like, great, that's fine. And now that they've redeemed her into a reclamation project, she's the worst. I hate her. She's annoying. Send her into the sun. I was with Lois, who was ready to punch her in the face. The other characters are basically the same, are just shades of her. Like, Lena Luthor is also kind of a grumpy alt girl, and there's another grumpy alt girl, and it's just like, pick one. I don't need 3 versions of the same character to be hanging around Supergirl. I love the tone of this book. It's very Silver Age book. I mean, literally, the first page opens up and Supergirl stumbles on a crystal that turns into a mermaid. She goes, "Oh no, I'm a mermaid!" And she goes into the ocean and finds Princess Shark, and then they have an adventure to try to turn her back into a humanoid. And like, no explanation, don't need it. It's totally just like, whoops, the magic crystal turns Supergirl into a mermaid that she's got to deal with that while everybody else is dealing with Thanksgiving. Or at least
you also had the story with the Princess Shark is like, no, I was just a regular shark, and now my shark friends are here, but we can't.
I can't talk to my brother and sister anymore because they're just
so sad.
I mean, there's really nice things that happen this, despite the annoying sporting cast for me. And I'm someone who loves Thanksgiving, so anytime anyone starts complaining about the things that happened 500 years ago, I immediately tune out and don't care anymore. And so that was the entire issue, and I was just like, come on, I'm sick of this. But overall, I thought it was really nice, and it ended really sweetly. And when this book is drawn by Sophie Campbell, because she hasn't done every issue,
right?
But when
understandable.
She does, when she does, though, it's really great. And there's a nice cliffhanger, or not cliffhanger, but there's like a mystery at the end. And it's good. It's a good book, despite my somewhat misgivings about it from the character standpoint. But I do like Kara in it. I like this world. I like the way it's drawn. I like the tone of it. It is kind of an all age. It's more like, if there's a spectrum, and an all ages spectrum, and most Marvel and DC books are on like a higher, more on the adult side. This is probably to the left of the center line, like just to the left though, and it's fine. It's good.
Well, what I think I appreciate, like, this book's not written for me, really. So I'm kind of reading it as a guy who reads a lot of comic books, and I'm seeing what's being done in it, and the sort of intention. The intention of being like, this is not supposed to be like an X-Men book. This is not supposed to be like a Batman book. And I just think it is hitting those notes that it's supposed to really well. Right. And that is entertaining in its own way for a person like me.
Yeah.
I guess, like, it's,
and sharks.
That doesn't hurt either. And it's very, it passes the Bechdel test. I think it's not talking, like, a lot of times you'll have girl characters, and sometimes it's just like, I don't know, if they sometimes feel like they're talking down a little bit to be like, we don't know how to reach young people. But I feel like there's, I was going to use the word authenticity, but I don't think that's exactly right. I just think it's approaching it at the right level.
Between Crypto and Streaky and The monkey,
Little tiny Titano.
That turkey was like, there's no way the turkey would have made it. Like they're all ready to pounce in the kitchen on it.
Yeah, but
like,
there's a disgusting fish plate there too.
I know, but what I'm saying is they're all ready to pounce on it. And there's no way
Yeah.
anyone's going to stop those Kryptonian pets.
Two
from eating that turkey.
Kryptonians.
No, but they're neither one of them are in the kitchen.
Listen, Krypto's not the dog from the movie. He's a good dog.
Look at his face. He wants that turkey.
Of course he does. All dogs do that. They sit there and stare at every piece of food that's ever been out.
And look, Streaky is next to it on this counter. There's no way that the humans are going to stop Streaky from getting that turkey. So I'm just saying that turkey was done for.
Oh, they have their food down there. I got to tell you though, that table full of food, that's a good drawing right there.
Great drawing, great art.
It looks like an actual table with stuff on it with people around it. It's a great drawing. And people, again, that's one of those things like, when you watch any TV or movie and you go into their kitchen, there's always like a giant bowl of fruit and a bunch of shit that is not in anybody's. It was like, what do you buy $40 worth of fruit every morning and throw it away at night? Like it doesn't.
I have a giant bowl of fruit in my kitchen.
Right. But you know what I'm getting at. But
mostly for cocktails, like though.
A real table.
Are they eating that weird fish? I didn't even notice that the first time.
I think they
they're
brought
eating that
for
thing. It's sliced up.
Someone's eating it.
Oh my god.
Maybe it's delicious.
Yeah, but
it's nowhere near Princess Shark.
No, but it's not an appetizing. I mean, that's who wants whoever that woman is, who I don't know, is sitting in front of it. It's not eating much because she's got to stare at that face.
What's with the shark cleavage here? There's too much shark cleavage. It's confusing.
It's like when they make sexy Cree women. It's just they can't help it. Or squirrel women.
I know.
It was good. It was fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Still surprised though. It was a weird week though.
It was a weird week, and when I was sort of, there was a bunch of books. Like even when I was trying to make the list of what we were going to talk about, I was like, we talked about all these. Like there wasn't a lot of books that was. Yeah,
I had a lot of books when we were making a list. I was like, God, I don't know what to add, and then it's going to be a very strange after show. I apologize in advance. Let's move on to. Is this only the second Transformers issue by?
I think so. Yeah,
Kirkman and Mora?
25. That would have been right.
So
we would have started on 24. Doesn't make sense.
Right. 25 was the first new issue. I liked it. I thought this was good. I like I like the character turn from not Starscream. I don't know the Mask mythology, even though I watched that cartoon and bought many of the toys. It was so long.
I don't know that there was much of one, to be
honest. I
don't
know who this is. Mayhem, the Mayhem guy.
He's the bad guy.
He's a Mask.
He's the main bad guy.
Right,
he's the Cobra Commander. If that,
right, I just couldn't remember. I didn't know that was
Miles Mayhem,
87 or whatever.
He had a plane that could also be a helicopter, which honestly I don't think gives you enough versatility.
Wow. Someone should tell Dan Moore that Flag would have definitely buttoned his jacket, but generals don't walk around with their coats flapping in the wind like that. I don't think I've ever seen a general with an unbuttoned jacket. There's a lot going on here, but I think Kirkman is handling it well. There's the Transformers and Decepticons fighting each other. There's G.I. Joe, at least Flag, insinuating himself into the Transformers, and I don't 100% trust him. And then you got this Mayhem guy walking around, and then at the end of it, Megatron has a seizure. Like there's a lot here, but he's handling it very deftly, and I think it's the guy who wrote The Walking Dead for 30 years. It's he's like he can handle his big sprawling cast with multiple storylines going on, and I have to say I loved Jenny Warren Johnson and Jorge Corona's art, but Dan Mora's art is very clean and for me easier to follow and distinguish the different Transformers. Easier
That's
than
fair. Yeah.
They still need to say their names slightly more often, but I liked Soundwave in the prison. Like there's a lot of things happening in the book that were good.
I wanted to bring that up because that's a great like Optimus brings him a tray of Energon.
Yeah.
Like it's on a tray, but at the same time, and it's almost not completely obvious, he's pointing a giant gun at him at the same time. It's almost out of panel, but it's like, here, I did this nice for you. A hand cannon. And you got to remember, that thing's bigger than like a tank in real space.
But does he still have it? Is he holding a gun?
He's holding his gun. He's got his repaired arm. He doesn't have.
Yeah, he doesn't have Megatron's arm anymore.
Yeah, he's just got it looks like he's just got an iron beam on the right shoulder instead of his little smokestack thing. That's a great drawing. And
then also there's the angry
Ultra Magnus.
Autobots who are still on Cybertron fighting the war, and they're mad that and honestly, it's kind of fair. Like the other Autobots who went through the portal to Earth are kind of just hanging out now. And yes, they're fighting a battle, and
They went through some shit. They were
have,
like,
but like also
Russo.
they're like, we're just not going back. We're just gonna chill here and make a new home for ourselves. Everyone else is like, we are still fighting for our lives back on Cybertron, and so they're more angry and more militant, and I think that's interesting conflict.
One thing I think that is being done better here than Daniel Warren Johnson, and I don't mean to say that he wasn't doing something right.
Right.
I think there's a different focus going on here. So here we are actually getting more characterization, more clear characterization. So like we're seeing this stuff with Ultra Magnus. We're seeing the differences between, you know, Skywarp and Thundercracker and how they're acting. You're seeing, you know, you're seeing Soundwave, or all that stuff, and it's just a little more defined, which again, you know, this is the guy who wrote Walking Dead. He just had these roaming groups of characters, all of which were unique and had their own thing, and he's doing that here with the previous team. It was all moving so fast and fighting that stuff was there, but it was less apparent.
And Invincible had a cast of 1,000 people in
Invincible. Yeah, totally.
He's used to these sprawling stories that have a lot going on, and it felt. I mean, I'm scrolling through it now and looking, and nothing felt shortchanged. You know, I'm sort of.
It's a lot.
You're bouncing around every couple of pages to a different storyline, and they're all. You don't. I didn't feel it while I was reading it.
Yeah.
And the brother versus brother thing was interesting, where the one brother, they're both Decepticons, was injured, and they were the Autobots were trying to repair him. They didn't have enough energon, and then his brother shows up and says, "You were trying to, you're hurting my brother," and they convince him they're not. And then when they wake up, the hurt brother, he's like, "Fuck this!" and starts, attacking everybody. When the brother defends the Autobots, and now he becomes an Autobot at the end. Like, I thought that was all really interesting, and it happened in the space of one issue, and I thought it was really well done and handled really well. So yeah, I mean, I thought I was a little worried that I was going to start to get weary of the book, but I'm not. And I have the same feeling on Void Rivals. Like, I keep thinking this will be the issue of Void Rivals. Where I'm like, I don't want to read it anymore, but I keep finding something to help hook myself onto that.
What's going to happen over on Skuxoid, whatever?
That's what I care about the least. But
it's fascinating because it's really dumb. Like, you cut him up and it makes him, and like the one guy hates the other guy, but they're the same guy. It's great.
Kirkman's really good at this, and I'm happy. I'm even excited for the cartoon. It's like he's doing what we wanted as a kid. He's taking all the properties and smushing them together into an animated series. And if you told me when I was 10 they would have Transformers, G.I. Joe, and Mask all together in a cartoon, I would have been fucking thrilled.
I'm not mad about it. I'm not anything. I don't need Mask in there. I don't think that's.
Well, I mean, why not? Like, what else can you put it? Can they put Bionic 6 in there too?
It's unrelated.
Yeah, no.
It's not. The G.I. Joe and Transformers were always like hand in hand. It wasn't quite a shared universe, but it has
Hasbro.
Been. Yeah.
Was Mask Hasbro too?
I feel like it was Kenner.
It's gotta be.
Well, but the thing is, there is only
Kenner.
Right, there is only Hasbro now. So at the time,
no one talks about that monopoly.
No one, because I think they're like, yeah, we gotta sell $30 action figures to adults to get by because kids don't want this shit anymore. My kids were watching like something, SpongeBob or whatever, and there was like actual toy commercials on, and I was like, these are exactly the same kinds of commercials.
Yeah,
these must be the same people making them. I mean, it was, like a thing gets knocked over and close up, and they cut back to two boys, and I was like, you're really following the formula still.
They just have a template. They drop new footage into. It's like they already got it on the editing timeline. They just dropped the footage in.
Yeah, Abe Leibovitz is in big dark glasses, pants up to his nipples. He's like, "This is how I sold Barbie like this in 68."
48-inch cigar out of his mouth.
Yep.
He just won't die. So
let me tell you about Brave Star. Brave Star, we did a campaign in '87. Couldn't hold them on the shelves.
All right. Well, this was great. I'm still liking it. I don't know how Dan Moore's doing it. I mean, I know there's lots of rumors that he's got like an army of background artists, which is fine if he does, but you can't do that with these. Like with this book, he's got to, artists get used to just drawing. Like, you talk to artists and they'll say like, if you draw a character for a while, you're just going to do it really fast because you got muscle memory how to draw a character. Well, these aren't even humanoids. These are robots. And there's a lot going on, so I was really impressed with the way.
One thing you do have though is there's a lot of reference. Like, okay, here's the character model. Here's what it is. That's one of those books where I'm like, if you don't know the Transformers, it must be a bitch to draw this. If you do, you're good to go.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to more in a little while. We'll be back after this in 1 second.
Oof.
We're back, and I blah 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 the commercial break, which tells you we're in November. We're in mid-November. So
tell me about this.
Did you happen to read 1776 #1 from Marvel Comics?
I looked at it and then I said, "No, I'm good."
Well,
So
here's the thing.
please,
I'm
you're
in a
talking
patriotic
about it.
mood. As this show is coming out, we'll have the first episode of the American Revolution from Ken Burns, and next year is our 250th anniversary as a country. And you know, I'm a patriotic dude. I got a George Washington painting on my wall in my house, and I saw this and I thought, well, why not? I don't. I'm reading 2 J. Michael Straczynski books, so like, what's happening? They both come out this week. So
I mean, the good news is they'll be over before long for
well, they're both
some
miniseries,
reason.
so hopefully it's not a problem. I'm trying to
Still.
find it on the app and I can't find it. Oh, here it is. So the problem with this book wasn't J. Michael Straczynski at all. It was the art. So the story here is that Morgan Le Fay has gone back in time to the Revolution, and she's going to change history because she doesn't want America to exist. Because if America doesn't exist, then all these heroes may not exist, and then they won't be constantly thwarting her plan. And so then, you know, this is what the story is like. This is no great Shakespeare. It's like, so then the heroes get sent back in time to
You
stop
just
her.
combine No Great Shakes and Shakespeare in the same thing.
I did. This is no great Shakespeare. And so, you know, the heroes get sent back in time, and they're all in revolutionary colonial era garb, and you know, it's just this is exactly what I thought it was going to be. You know, someone goes back in time to fuck up the revolution. The heroes go back to stop them. Like, that's what I want it to be. Here's the problem. Ron Lim, the great Ron Lim, draws the modern day stuff. So they're in the future, and they get together. And Dr. Strange gets them all together. Looks great. Ron Lim still got it. Sean Damian Hill. He's not a bad artist, but you need someone who's going to draw recognizable people. Like, you're dealing with characters who all have powdered wigs and the same kind of clothing, and so at least a handful of them are pretty recognizable, right? And so the first time we see Ben Franklin, I call him Ben. You know, you recognize him as Ben Franklin. That's Ben Franklin right there. The very next page, 1, 2, 3. There's 4 panels with Ben Franklin, each with a different face. So, like, there's that Ben Franklin. There's this Ben Franklin. There's that Ben Franklin who looks like
comic book guy Ben Franklin.
Yeah, he looks like he's got a soul patch. Like,
I don't believe I've ever seen him bearded.
This looks like pre-weight loss Dewey from like Mallrats. So like, it just, I turned that page and I was like, oh no, like it's just a disappointment. But you know, I'm in for a historical romp featuring, you know, the Avengers, and it's like Captain America, Spider-Man, Iron Man, Hulk. I think they're the ones who get sent back.
Look at the cover.
The cover is by
almost looks like Cassidy, and I was like,
the cover is by Pete Woods. I'm not sure why Invisible Woman is on the cover, or Cyclops, because they were not in the issue, but we'll see. Maybe they'll show up later. But then the secondary plot is that Morgan Le Fay, this not just wants to stop the revolution, but have the British turn America into 50 separate countries, so that they will always be at war with each other, and we'll be too busy fighting each other than to fight her. It's a device to get the heroes back into into the war. It doesn't really matter. But
now is that Jefferson in the middle there?
See, I don't know. It's not great. It's not great.
I thought that he was a black man with dreadlocks.
It's not good. You know, you got people. If you know anything of the war, there are people here. General Gates is here, and other people who are important. But I you know, was it the best thing I've ever read? No. Was it what kind of wanted to read from this book? Yes. I just wish it had better art.
Did any of them rap and or dance?
Like, look at this Hulk. Like, it's weird. He's got like a mohawk. I don't know. No one raps. No one danced.
Well, there's your problem right there.
Peter doesn't know anything about history, which I think is fine. He's a scientist.
I don't think he knows.
Well, everyone kind of knows something, but the details.
Peter watched Jeopardy when he was a kid. I have no doubt in my mind. He knows that stuff.
Cap is the expert here. Steve is the expert. So, which makes sense.
Yes.
I wish the art was better. That's all I have to say about it.
All right.
So, this is me again. I assume you did not read Marvel/DC Thor/Shazam Infinity Comic #1.
Barely got through the title just now. No.
Oh, you know, we're in the midst of this Marvel DC crossover. So we had the Deadpool Batman crossover previously from Capullo, and who wrote that? Who did write that? I forgot already. But next week we have Batman / Deadpool from Grant Morrison and Dan Mora. That's right, Dan Mora on another book. So, and then they're all friendly again. So this week we had 2 Infinity comics, one on the Marvel app and one on the DC app. I didn't read the DC app one because everywhere I read or everyone talked about it said it was terrible. But this was fun with a gigantic asterisk, which I'll get to in a second. But it's classic Thor, yellow boots, big light blue circles on his chest, and Captain Marvel. Yep.
I thought he was the captain.
In
Is
DC
that the
Comics, in DC Comics. Here in a Marvel comic, he's called Captain Marvel.
No shit.
They literally call him Captain Marvel in the book.
That seems like a little subversion here from the DC folks who worked on this. They're like, we want to call him Captain Marvel, and they were like, all right, don't tell him.
And so here they sort of Donald Blake is the Thor, and he can't access his power. He keeps hitting the stick, nothing happens. So then Shazam brings him to the Wizard. Or, damn it, Captain Marvel brings him to the Wizard, and then there's a whole fight with the worm dude, and it was delightful. Al Ewing wrote it. Jethro Morales did the art. It was all fine. My problem is, this is an Infinity comic, which means it's an infinite scroller, and that's not comics to me. I mean, I get comics or any combination of words and pictures, fine. Yeah. At a base level, it is technically comics, and I get that this is made for young people who spend their whole life scrolling until they die. Like they're just going to scroll till they turn into dust. But to me, when you don't have a page, there's no construction, there's no storytelling from panel to panel. There's no traditional way of making a comic book in this format.
There's no page turn.
No, you're just scrolling until you're done. And
I checked out a couple of those, and I was like, I don't know.
The only one that used the form properly, I think, was that one Spider-Man one early on that was it exclusive. Juan Ferreira.
That makes sense.
Someone like that, and the artist used the downward motion in the story.
Yeah. He's the kind of artist who could do that.
This is just single panels. Mm-hmm. And it even was occasionally a problem because you would get like these giant word balloons that I can't try to find where the line would go all the way down and you couldn't tell who was saying what until you scrolled all the way down, so you'd miss the word. Like it was just little problems like that. I just don't think it's real comic. I don't want to seem like an old jerk. I don't think it's real comic book storytelling.
It's classic comics. It's the comic book form. It's the thing you come for.
Right.
Some people like to have a guitar, a bass, and drums, and that is what makes them happy. And I think that we've spent so much time studying and thinking about this form that if this was great, if you read this and was like, man, I really like how to do it.
It was enjoyable, and if you'd read it, I think you would have found it enjoyable. It's classic Thor. Here he is, Captain Marvel, my champion. Even though they don't call the Wizard Shazam anymore, he's just the Wizard from the movie. But I think you would have enjoyed it. Like this was well done. It was a fun team up. They make sense together. They have complementary powers. They do this fun thing where the Shazam lightning can only turn one of them at a time because it can turn Thor back, but then Billy goes back to being Billy, and then it goes back forth. It was like a fun little back and forth. Like it was a well done comic. It's just to me, it's not the page, the storytelling on the page from panel to panel, the in between the panels, the gutters, all the things that make a comic is not something you can do with an Infinity comic because the children want to scroll till they die, and that's fine.
Do they?
That seems to be. That's all they do.
No, I mean, are they reading these comics?
Oh yeah. Webtoons is huge.
I didn't say that. I meant these Marvel
comics. Oh, I don't know if they're reading these, but they're trying to get those kids who do that.
No, I get that, but it's like behind a paywall. It's old men shit.
Well, this was free. If you had the app, it was free.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. They were both free, I think, on the app.
Listen, I hope people do.
I don't know. I like that they're doing this stuff. I like that the companies are getting along again. It's just fun. I'm always down to check out a Marvel DC crossover. So I guess I should maybe read the Flash one, but I heard nothing good about that one. So
who did it?
I don't even.
Okay. You don't have to.
I don't remember. I knew when I was reading the reviews of it.
I knew if you had it to hand, but
I don't remember.
All right, you want to try this one more time?
It's Carmine and Fantino.
Wow.
Yeah.
Toss to it. Toss to it. You can do it.
Should I not yada yada the break again?
I mean, do whatever it is that you feel good about. I think is what you should
We are
do.
going to take a break. I'll be back right after this. I just ripped a scab off my arm by accident.
Great. All right.
Okay, we're back. I'm bleeding now. We had a very intense break.
We got in a fight from 3,000 miles away, and someone ended up bleeding.
I cut my head shaving the other day. Those things bleed like a motherfucker. So I really liked Hellboy this week. Hellboy, and B.P.R.D, the Ghost of Ships of Labrador.
Yeah.
Who is Lawrence Campbell? Can Lawrence Campbell draw a lot more comics?
I mean, and I think this has come up is that we've talked about the idea that like Mike Mignola killed off Hellboy, and we didn't see him for a few years or whatever, and then like slowly but surely we're getting a little more, and now we're getting a pretty regular Hellboy.
The cadence of Hellboy releases is like every other month. There's a new Hellboy thing,
and there's multiple stories. So there's Hellboy in Love, that's in the 70s. This is taking place whenever it was, and it's just whatever you want to do.
1990,
yeah. And this is like classic Hellboy in that like Hellboy and Abe go up to Canada, Newfoundland and Labrador, and there's some ghosts in a little town, and they're checking it out, and like they go after the ghosts, and it turned out that's actually not what's happening. It's another thing that's making the ghosts stay there, and then the ghosts are all swarthy old salty seamen from the seamen,
right?
From from the I don't know. Given
I like that you said they were salty
ship,
seamen.
Yeah, given what that ship looks like, I'm gonna say no later than 1900.
Oh, they're
old.
They're definitely several hundred years old at this point.
Yeah,
this is when Hellboy was on Atkins because he's a slimmer. He's like a svelte Hellboy.
Yeah,
he wasn't doing carbs at that point.
Hellboy's he can show up a lot of different ways, and it's fantastic.
I thought the Lawrence Campbell art was wonderful. I thought it was so atmospheric. Mm-hmm. Did a really good job with it's like there was a lot of fog in the book, and I'm gonna credit Lee Lowridge as well in the colors. Like it just looked like atmospheric, moody, horror-y, but adventure-y comic. So it's very pale. The colors are all very muted, and the character work is just wonderful. And then there's some action sequences, but like he just goes in tight on the eyes and the smoking. Like just a lot of great storytelling stuff here.
I feel like I haven't seen Abe Sapien with Hellboy in forever. So it was it was just sort of a back, and then finally you got a big shot at the end of the real threat, and it's like a ship / shark whale sort of thing, like a Joan and the Whale situation.
Right.
There's it's barking. I don't know. And then it ends with a big chomp, like literally like a chomp, and then the word balloon chomp in vertical format. And it was this. I'm not like if you asked me like what was it about, I could kind of, but it doesn't matter. I was like, it was just fun. It was what it was supposed to be. It was,
I mean, what is every Hellboy story about? There's a thing, and Hellboy and Abe or somebody else with a Hellboy show up to investigate, and they fight the thing, and then they go home. Like that's what every Hellboy story is, and that's what every Hellboy story should be.
Hellboy is plussed, and then later he becomes nonplussed.
That happens.
Yeah.
I've got a shirt that's got a ship that's very much like the ship on that cover. I should have worn that on the show.
I have multiple shirts like that.
Tied in.
I have one that's the outline of the Endurance. Would you like to hear about the Endurance?
No one wants to hear about the Endurance.
Okay, fine.
I love that these books are 1 and 2 issue stories. Like you just go in, you can tell a little Hellboy story, you go back out. Let's move on.
And that's what it's always been. And so they're just no long story. So you're not checking out these Strange Tales comics?
No, I missed it, and then I had so many books this week that I just didn't read it.
Fair. Now, what's interesting though is that I don't know why I read it, other than like I was like, I like the title Strange Tales, and that's a terrible cover, by the way, or at least the logo treatment's awful. So the last one,
Green Goblin attacking, is that Gwen? Spider Gwen?
Yeah, well, Ghost Spider. So we had this argument.
I'm with the kid in Australia.
Yeah. We were all on the same page.
Are we?
She can't be Spider Gwen.
No, she can't.
Right. That's what we
can call her Spider Gwen. Yeah.
Right.
Ghost Spider. Yeah.
Anyway, so the last issue was we find the first issue was the Young Avengers, the couple, this Kree, you know what I mean, Billy and
The
Priest Girl Prince,
Hulkling
and Wiccan, and they
Wiccan.
were playing it was like Halloween. They were gonna play board games or something with Nico and Carolina, I guess. And then some shit went down, like the board game was haunted or something. They found their way to the Scarlet Witch, blah blah blah. And I thought this will be a continuation of that.
Right.
But
No.
in fact, this is a different story where
it's an anthology. Strange Tales is an anthology usually.
yeah,
right?
well, no, but it's still taking place on Halloween, and I felt like there was a connection because stuff's going weird in a bunch of places, but I'm not sure. And neither story finished, so that's the other thing. Anyway, I don't know that I've ever actually read a Ghost Spider story in the MCU.
Oh.
Maybe, I don't know, but like not like a single issue or whatever.
I don't think I have either.
So she is trying to get to her gig. We find out, by the way, the first thing, that going trick-or-treating at Doctor Strange's place is the best thing to do. And people used to be really scared of it, but now they're much more jaded, and so the kids go there because he gives out king-size candy bars, even though he's kind of scary when he comes out, and he likes it a lot. There's a great joke about a kid in a Doom costume. Just a 3-panel gag, and it's great. Doom shall feast on creamy nougat tonight. So some shit goes down. There's a pumpkin bomb, and we find out the Green Goblin. Who's the Green Goblin in this? Is it Norman Osborn? I don't know. It doesn't matter.
What are they wearing? What are they wearing?
It looks like the Green Goblin. It's the classic Green Goblin.
Then it's got to be Norman. I think Norman's the one that's worn that outfit.
I guess, but I don't know that this is continuity.
In your heart, just make it Norman.
So, okay, I did. So, but it's younger. It's like a while ago. So then Ghost Spider's swinging by and sees that the Sanctum Sanctorum door is open. She goes in there. She has a fight with Green Goblin in the bookshelves and everything. And it's delightful. You know, it's not the greatest thing ever, but I found it really enjoyable. Yeah, because then at the end, Scarlet Witch shows up with Nico, so the stories are connected. Some shit's going down. But anyway, Ghost Spider ends up being turned into a ghost of some kind. She cannot interact with the world, but she can thunk, and they start talking to her because apparently she knows Morse code. You know,
Ghost Spider becomes a ghost. It's just one story per issue, and then one would assume that in the last issue, all these stories will come together.
It's coming together now because Nico and Scarlet Witch showed up together, so it's you know, like a bunch of disparate things happen, and then there's an overall story. I guess I don't know, but because it was different, it was like a total change of pace, and like, oh, I'm spending time with these characters now, doing this, and you know, low stakes in terms of like having to keep up all the continuity, the stuff that's going on, whatever, with characters I don't spend a lot of time with, but I enjoyed it, and that's why.
If I had a lighter week, that's something I'd really enjoy. I might be able to read it over the break.
Yeah, that's not bad.
But will I remember to do that?
I mean, I'm guessing not.
Maybe
I'm guessing
I will.
Not.
You never know.
All right.
Let's take a quick break and talk about the show. So
yeah,
we have been going on for 20 years. This show, and for that 20-year time, we have been listener supported, except for the little couple bit in the middle where we were owned by somebody. But we're back. We're now owned by ourselves again, and we're listener supported. And how can you help the show? How can you support the show? Well, patreon.com/iFanboy. That's the best way to do it. We get supported directly by the patrons. But you know, the joy in your heart that you would feel in supporting your favorite podcast, and obviously we're your favorite podcast, is possibly outweighed by the wonderful community that has been created from the patrons. It really is. You know, we were known way back in 2007 for our wonderful community on Revision 3. We had the best, most healthy, most vibrant community. I think they told us that the activity on our forum on Revision 3 outpaced every other forum combined. Like we've always had a great community. And that's been repopulated on our Discord server. So if you join patreon.com/iFanboy, you can join the Discord server. There's a community there. They're active. They're talking every day about comics, all kinds of other things. You can vote in the Patron Pick. You can get a Patron Power live in the show if you give it the $5 higher level. You can be part of the monthly Patron Hangout, which we're doing this weekend, which we just did. I mean, we haven't done it, but we already did it. Think about that for a second.
It will have been done.
It will have happened by the time you hear this and see this.
I mean,
$10 or higher, you get an ad-free version of all of our shows. We put the shows out without ads, except for this.
Read that Garth Ennis book? We don't know.
And you also get the Pick of the Week show. This very show, you get it a day early on Saturday. At some point Saturday, not always the same time, but you get it on Saturday. Plus, you get access to the iFanboy After Show on Sundays, where we talk about all the books we didn't talk about in this show that we read. It's a lot of great value for being a patron. And there's a discount if you sign up for 1 year ahead of time. You can also receive gift memberships. That's all at patreon.com/iFanboy. It's this holiday time, folks. You wouldn't think of it. We've had people give the gift of iFanboy to people. And if you want to give the gift of a fanboy, in our 20s, that might have been a different thing, but now in our 40s, it's the gift of iFanboy. It's this show. And so please consider doing that. And we appreciate everyone who does it. We wouldn't be here 20 years later without you all. iFanboy.threadless.com is our merch store. We have 23 designs. You can get them on t-shirts and more, mugs, notebooks, bath mats, welcome mats, all kinds of mats. Bath mats, shower curtains, not bath mats. Oh, we should look at the bath mats.
Matthew McConaughey.
He'll show up with a tattoo of our logo on him if you buy it paid enough. iFanboy.threadless.com is where you can do that. iFanboy.com/support. Directly donate via PayPal. If you're a billionaire who's suddenly in big trouble because of leaked emails and you need to give away your money quickly, feel free to do that at iFanboy.com/support. We'll take care of it. iFanboy.com/Amazon is a general shopping link. This is the season for shopping. We've already seen the Christmas commercials. They started with Halloween. They're in overdrive now. So if you have gifts to give, and I've already got my list of things that I'm going to get and give through Amazon.
Who are these people giving out Lexuses? Sorry.
Usually what I think is in Canada. That's like the only place that makes sense for.
I can't understand
the atmosphere. Like it's all like Pacific Northwesty. It's got to be all around Vancouver.
I'm just saying, in order to give a luxury vehicle away, you have to have either a ton of money or a really understanding spouse. Because if I was like, I just spent $80,000 on a car that I didn't consult with you about.
Yeah, I mean, there's people who make a lot of money, and we're not them. That's why we need Patreon.com/iFanboy.
But the whole thing is why, like, are there enough of them to be worth advertising to? I guess.
Yeah. Or it's aspirational. It's an aspirational brand.
That's what it is. But the thing is, somebody still needs to buy them, even if they aspire to them.
I mean, there's lots of them. They're just not giving us surprise gifts.
They're Toyotas. They last. Don't get me wrong.
There's no Toyota December to remember.
All right.
Where are we at? Bookshop.org. We've partnered with bookshop.org to help local bookstores. So if you want to buy your books, that's how I buy my books. My non-comic books, I buy them through bookshop.org, and I just have a whole other shipment I need to put an order in for. Because the books I bought got somehow rerouted to a local library that my spouse runs. So I need to get another set of copies for these books I want. Bookshop.org is your buddy, your pal, and they help us out and help local bookshops out. Thank you very much. All those things that people do to keep the show going. And now, speaking of keeping the show going, let's talk about Fantastic Four 731.
Hey, look, it's the endurance behind me, too.
Or 5. What I loved about this issue, and I did love this issue a lot, was that the cover belies the inside. So the cover is Black Cat, like the Grinch prancing through what was probably the Baxter building with Herbie in her bag with other trinkets and an invisible woman standing there scowling at her. And so you think this issue is going to be about the Black Cat trying to rob Fantastic Four. And it is not. It is a mystery that is solved by the invisible woman because all the men folk are gone at a fishing trip in the negative zone, which I guess is a thing that happens.
Which doesn't make sense. And you would not wear the same thing to that fishing trip that you would wear to, say, River in Utah.
But I love that, Sue and Alicia are having their girls' weekend, and they're drinking wine, and they're gossiping. Not the gossiping, that's a stereotype. I apologize. But they are drinking wine, they're talking, and they're having fun. And
is that the living room from the movie?
The
big round couch. I think that was in the movie.
Is. And then that's when we find out that the Black Cat shows up at the door. She's been arrested. All the cops are pointing guns at her. She's been arrested for murder, and she needs Invisible Woman's help to solve the murder. And then that's what Sue does. Of course, the single issue, she goes and she solves the murder. I thought it was really fun, really inventive. It's a fun, sort of snappy issue. And then I loved that at the end, Sue doesn't like Felicia, the Black Cat. Most women in Marvel don't like her. She flaunts her sexuality. She sleeps with all the guys. But then by the end, she's got a begrudging respect / friendship with her. So they all go on a girls' weekend to Vegas, leaving the guys all alone once they arrive back with their fish. I thought this was a fun, another amazing Ryan North single issue. But I thought this was totally different than what we've done before. We got to see a really interesting side of Sue, the detective, and it was great. I love the three of them. I love Sue, Felicia, and Alicia, and I would like to see them in Vegas. I think that'd be a fun comic, but we're not going to get that story.
So. Do you think they licensed the song?
I don't know what's the minimum number of words you can use before you have to license
Together
it,
we
but
can take
maybe.
it to the end of the line. And
It's a lot.
when you read those words, the total eclipse of the heart,
Mhm.
eclipse of the heart, do you hear the Dan band singing it as opposed to?
I don't, but now that you've said it, I do.
So what happened was I was trying to remember what the song was because I recognized
Mhm.
the lyrics. Together we can take it to the end of the line. Love is like a shadow on me all the time.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait, so what's the name of it? And then the next thing I hear in my head was shit, yeah, dope. And then what is, by the way, just to refer to old school because I have it, my favorite side eye take in the history of cinema. Gives a quick, and then he waves it off.
Nah, that can't be. God, we should talk about that movie on the Media Split. We should do a show about the 2000s comedies and the end of comedy.
Mhm.
I thought it was fun, and I
It
had
was.
another thought, but I forgot. Oh, I think they probably would most likely be singing Taylor Swift, but that's fine too. This is one of the great power ballads, but that's fine. They definitely couldn't afford Taylor Swift in this book. But I liked it. I thought it was great. I really did. I thought this was my favorite comics of the week.
Yep, that's good stuff. And then that moves us along to Redcoat number 15, which is the 15th issue, I believe, if I'm reading this correctly. Again, I think you added this one.
I did. Well, a lot of important things happen in this. One,
yeah, it's sad.
We see Simon in 1909.
Yeah.
And he's working as a tailor, and he's, first of all, we don't see him wearing the red coat, the titular red coat, which have we seen him in every issue? Did he wear the red coat to Einstein's? Yeah, he did.
He's always worn the red coat.
He wore it to Einstein's deathbed, so in the 50s. So here we see him the first time. Even his boss says, "Hey, you showed up in that ratty red coat. Where'd it go?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't wear it anymore." But he still wears the long hair in the ribbon. But we find out he's settled down. He's got a family. He's got 2 kids. He is not worrying about what that means to be immortal with a family. And when asked about it, he says, "I'll deal with that later," which is foreboding. And then young Einstein shows up at his door, and I made a noise because that relationship was so sweet in the early days. And then when that issue where he died was a pick of the week was wonderful. And so to see him again as a young man, and how happy Simon is to see him, and he looks at him like a son, and I just thought this was great. And he says, "I'm here because Benedict Arnold is back," and we see crazy, member of an immortal cult, Benedict Arnold. Like the book that should
hear
never
the thunder crack.
that should never work does weird shit, and it works. I just thought this was less like, oh shit, more like whoa, like whoa. Yeah. He's not wearing a coat, and he's got a family, and there's Albert Einstein,
and he's like, it's interesting because like we seen him in all these different phases because the book isn't necessarily linear. We're jumping forward and backward in time, and so, but for the most part, he is a jaded. When we know, further in the future, like he's been through stuff, and it's the same thing where like I have to be like this because if I get too close to anybody, it hurts. And you see this. Like the best version of himself. There's like a line.
He's funny. He's sweet. His kids love him. His wife loves him. He's flirty with his wife. Like it's all. This is the nicest Simon we've seen.
He's nice to his boss, and his boss is even like, "You were an asshole when you got here." That's a paraphrase.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's sad because like he can't have it. This all has to be taken away. You're gonna kill your babies. It's gonna
we've seen him in 50 years. He's living in like in a 1-room apartment in like New York City. Like that's the fun thing about the storytelling device of jumping in and out of time is that you know more than the characters know now.
Yeah.
And you know about the tragic fates that await them. It makes things more impactful.
I was just like, what is this reminding me of that I can't think of? I was like, oh, Cassidy from Preacher. Same deal.
I mean, this is my favorite Ghost World book. Ghost Machine book.
Ghost Machine.
Yeah, this is my favorite one.
There's only one Ghost World book.
And this is my favorite one.
Klaus book. Yeah. Wow.
So those are the books we're going to talk about. But at patreon.com/iFanboy, every patron of the show gets a vote to add a book to the rundown. And this week, not by a giant margin, but it was a wire-to-wire win. It was in first place the entire time. American Keeper #1 from Dark Horse Comics and Absurd Ventures. Story by Dan Hauser and Laszlo, with layouts by David Lapham and finishes by Chris Anderson. It's been a while since we've seen that kind of thing. Colors by Lee Lowridge, letters by Nate Picos. The book says art by David Lapham, but it doesn't look a thing like him. He's clearly just doing layouts. And it
Yeah.
says finishes by Chris Anderson, so that's how that works. That used to be a regular thing in the 80s and 90s. It has been
Yeah.
around a while. I was interested because it's a crime book. To jump on our final questions, I read this before it was Patron Pick. I was interested in checking out a new crime series. And Dan Houser is one of the creators of Grand Theft Auto, which I last
Oh,
played.
that's why Laszlo. Because Laszlo is a talk show host in the Grand Theft Auto world. Like he's in all the voices, and I was like, "What is that?" And it was funny because I've been playing Grand Theft Auto 5. Like I never finished it.
You should keep doing it because 6 is not coming out anytime soon.
November next year.
Yeah, it's been pushed back like 4 times. I know this is because it's a huge problem for the video game industry.
It went from May to November.
Trust me, this is a huge issue. Everyone else
I'm not saying it isn't.
Everyone else got their schedules on hold because they're all trying to program around it and they keep changing it. Anyway,
5 was the only one I ever finished, but just like it was very familiar.
I haven't played Grand Theft Auto since your apartment in Van Nuys in like 2000 and like whatever year the last time I was there.
3?
Probably the last time I played Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah. I've played them all.
So what you got here is a satire comedy, crime comedy, taking place in the town of Verona, the fictional town of Verona, Montana. And I enjoyed it. It's over the top and it's very on the nose, but I thought in a good way, in an entertaining way.
Again, I think that, and actually, now that I've put it together, who Dan Houser, because there's Jody Houser, I think, in comics, and I think that's what I was like. Oh, that's just this dude. But Dan, like, I see it. I'm like, oh, totally. But I find it's very difficult sometimes when a story is making comments on the world today and it's too on the nose. So in this one, you've got a guy and he's a lawyer
who doesn't want to be a lawyer.
He's not a great guy. He kind of hates his family life.
Well, he's not a bad guy. He's a guy who made compromises, as we all do,
because he's got a gambling addiction.
Right, and now I guess that would make him not a great guy, but it's an illness.
So his wife is,
but he's unhappy in his life because of all the choices he's made on the compromises he's made.
But his wife has become this like one of those raging online conservative folks, like a QAnon kind of person.
She spends all of her day online, yelling online, and she only wears tactical gear, which is one of my obsessions, which I don't think you understand. I'm obsessed.
You love tactical gear.
No, I'm obsessed with all these. This like you see commercials on YouTube or on TV, tactical sunglasses, tactical sweatshirts, everything. There's a whole like cottage industry of selling to people like this who like to walk around their suburbs like they're gonna fight the Taliban. And
which is anathema to respecting troops, by the way.
But she's like super deep into the online right-wing rage space, where the oldest daughter in college, is like a stereotype of super left-wing woke, socialist. So they're both stereotypes. There's one on each side of the spectrum, and in the middle there's
raging stereotypes.
There's the son who is just like checked out on his Switch the whole time and doesn't imagines himself to be a hero in his head, but can't even really talk to people and doesn't even know how to do what he wants. Like, it's all the different problems in America right now. It's the raging political anger, and then the apathy / device addiction in the middle, and then you've got the father who's addicted to gambling and desperate for a way out, and then you've got these corrupt businessmen in the town who are raping the land for their development projects, and so it's a lot happening here.
Here's the thing that I think,
and the hot Mormon wife next door, who the father of this.
Right. So what happens is you're hearing this inner monologue of this guy who's just making it through his life, and he's not super happy. Nothing went the way that he wanted to. Blah blah blah. And he looks across the other fence, literally the other side, where the grass is perhaps a different color, and he sees these beautiful blonde...
Look at his tree versus the guy's tree. Like, his tree's brown, his is green.
Right. So he looks over and he sees, oh man, she's beautiful, and they really seem to have their shit together. And you're reading the whole book, and then it switches perspective, and it goes into the Mormon guy, and he's in some fucked up shit too.
He may be making a bomb.
Like for some reason he's now like a hired killer, and like it's totally to me, an unexpected grass is greener thing. Also, very GTA thing. Like Dan Houser is, I can see it now that you say it. It's totally in there. This morally gray stuff. I thought it was great. I mean, I'm not great. I'm like, this was amazing, but I
It was
didn't
really
know what
good.
it
I
was going to
enjoyed reading
be.
it.
And I kind of sometimes expect these.
Oh, not a bomb. You're right. I forgot about the post credit sequence. He's a killer. The Mormon he kills
Yeah.
he kills that dude with
the
shovel.
the developer.
Yeah.
The jerk. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So it's all connected.
It had a little bit of like a Fargo vibe. And
Yeah.
by that I mean the movie, like where the father's in over his head because of bad choices, and everything he's going to do is going to make it worse, and people are going to die as a result. Ah, jeez. He bought the True Coat. Oh man, when I was at my work retreat last week and on the show, somebody on our team said that they had bought the equivalent of the True Coat because they felt bad for the salesman, and that led to me mercilessly making fun of him for 15 minutes with quotes from Mark from Fargo.
They put that on at the factory. There's nothing I can do about it.
Anyway,
did you look at him and you go, you know what? You're a fucking liar.
I said, are you kidding me? You bought the True Coat? And then it was downhill from there for him. So this was good. I liked it. I quite liked it. And so, yay.
And I can see the
because there was a Gargoyles book this week that people voted for, and that would have been a different conversation.
Yeah. There was definitely a Lapham vibe, but I think the finishes actually made it its own thing.
Oh,
and made
totally.
It work really
I would
well.
never have known that. They never said David Lapham contributed to the book. You never would have known it. Although you can see him here and there.
I can see it a little.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a really strong. If you're talking about like a no superhero crime, kind of over the top character thing, like that's the best guy to put the skeleton in.
Correct. So let's rate American Caper number 1 out of 5 stars. I'm going to go 4.
I'll go 4.
And are you sticking with American Caper? Yes, I am.
Yes.
And would you have read American Caper if it wasn't the Patron Pick? Yes, I did.
Yes, I already did. Yeah.
All right, so there you go. Patreon.com/iFanboy. Thanks for, voting. We appreciate all the patrons who vote. But if you give it the $5 or higher level, you get a superpower live on the show. And Matt, you're going to get your power from Josh, who has not done it in like a month.
I know I haven't. And just at the beginning, I looked at my little list that I keep, and there's one thing left on it, and it's something that I've been kicking down the line for quite some time. But here it is, Matt Mendoza. He's the nut shooter. He shoots various kinds of nuts from his hands or fingers. He can pick which type of nut.
He's got a nut gun in his fingers.
Yeah,
almonds, pistachios.
Mm-hmm.
Now, can he shoot a peanut? Even though it's not a nut?
Even if things are not technically a nut and they're whatever, if we think of them colloquially as nuts, he can fire them as projectiles. Did I do this already? No, that was the bean shooter.
It's similar to the bean. Can he hit someone in the nuts from like distance?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it look
walnuts.
Yeah, all the nuts. I think though, and
what about nutmeg?
No, it's not. No. That just shares the sound nut in the name. That doesn't really count. That's more of I don't even know what nutmeg is. I do know it was the cause of a great deal of wealth transfer and abuse in the 1600s.
I'm trying to think of other words that have nuts in them.
Well, the thing is, I think that they must be shelled. Oh. So getting hit with a shelled walnut is, it's actually quite tender. But with the big shell on there, you could do some damage.
Although they have shells, they don't have shells.
They do. They're like they're in the off the tree situation. I think almonds don't have shells, but there could be a bunch of them.
Almonds have that like bullet shape though, so at the right speed, that could cause some soft tissue damage.
There's a whole lot of things that can happen.
What is the speed here? What is the speed? Is it like is it like a bullet speed?
I'm gonna go with like a BB gun situation. Like not insignificant. They can do some
break
damage.
The skin, Clark.
But they're not. It's not armor piercing nuts.
I think a BB skin, an almond might pierce the skin.
Can I tell you that, and I mean this sincerely, I did not write this down or think of this as a double entendre. I did not. I thought flinging a bunch of nuts was really funny, but I got to say, obviously, if I say nut shooter right away, it's happened in your mind if you didn't mean to. But
it's too late. It's already funny.
Nuts. Legumes. They're very good for you. That could be useful. Like you could be hanging out with him. He's like, hit me, Matt. And he's like,
you could be like, listen, I need a jolt of energy. Can you give me some Brazil
They're
nuts?
going to be raw and
Just shoot some.
unsalted.
No, Brazil
Not
nuts are
roasted.
Brazil nuts are not roasted or salted. Just shoot some Brazil nuts in the ground, and then real good source of.
I don't like Brazil nuts. Brazil nuts are like the red delicious apples.
No one likes these things that are good for you. You do them because they are good for you.
I like walnuts.
They're good for your heart.
I don't like
selenium.
almonds.
A lot of selenium in them.
I like pistachios a lot. They're delicious.
Would you eat a pistachio or would you eat a slice of bacon? Given the choice.
Is it cooked?
Yes.
I didn't want you to get me with one of those like you get 3 wishes.
I'm just saying. Here's a handful of pistachios, or here's a handful of cooked bacon from Peter Luger's.
I gotta tell you. Well, I mean, that's like saying like I put a piece of chocolate cake in front of you and a slice of lemon.
I'm saying everyone would prefer the thing that's bad for you because it tastes better.
I would say that there's situations where like actually a handful of pistachio nuts I'd choose it over bacon depending on what I was doing. For example, if I was like skiing or riding a bike or something and like I had to stop and have a snack, I'd much rather have the handful of nuts. I don't want one greasy slab of bacon. I'm trying to that's a bad call.
Patreon.com/iFanboy. Thanks for being a patron, Matt. We appreciate it. I hope you enjoy your nut power with the spirit of which Josh gave it to you.
I just totally.
Should we do an email?
Yeah, let's do.
You choose.
Let's do an email. I'm just whatever's there is what we're doing.
Deezer I writes and says, here's a question that I've been thinking about since Black Science ended and was pushed more to the forefront of my mind with episode 1001. During the run of Black Science, Josh would frequently state that Matteo Scalera, quote, just needs to stop it, end quote. This got me thinking, has Scalera stopped it to your satisfaction? Who else needs to just stop it? This is your thing.
Yeah. And I'm thinking about it right now. So, unfortunately, I wish that Scalera had not stopped it. I know he shows up from time to time, but actually, I feel like I haven't run across.
You haven't seen him. There's some books you haven't read. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what they're putting him on. Or
I've only seen him a handful of times. He did a Mark Miller book, and then he did that one issue of Long Halloween.
That's not
I don't remember
what
Mark Miller book he did though. What was that?
He was just so perfectly paired with Rick Remender and that Black Science story,
right?
That that in that same, so like he could have done Fear Agent too. Like he would have been great on that book. The
totally.
Same sort of thing. So yeah, he fills in that lives in that Tony Moore, Jerome Pena world. God, Jesus, Rick.
Rick and who else?
Tom King.
Mike Mignola, and they all just have an unending supply of terrific artists.
So I mean, I assume that if he's still doing something, but I do think that like he was just so perfectly suited for that book, and it went on for such a long time that we sort of just got.
We were spoiled that we had this regular supply of Matteo Scalera art, and now that the book's over, he's not on a regular book anymore, and so we don't see him as often.
Which is crazy, but because someone like if I'm an editor, I'd be like snatch that guy up. But
yeah, I mean, who knows? He could be doing anything, but we had him every 40 some odd issues,
and it just was perfect for him. Like he was the guy, and he was the perfect guy for the band in that role that they needed him for.
So I'm not going to speak for you because you're the creator of it, but I don't feel like anyone else is in that mold of Scalera needing to stop it on a monthly basis.
I mean, first of all, it was just, I think it was just how perfect it was. And then how long we had, it was 30 plus issues, something like that. So like, if you want to talk about like somebody who's so good, they're making everybody else look terrible. And that's that's the joke, by the way, just like, you need to stop it because nobody else here, you're making everyone look bad. So that's it. Like it would be Greg Smallwood if
he was regular coming out with stuff.
Yes. Right. Or I mean, Daniel Warren Johnson doing art is right there. Maybe even more like this guy. Like he's too good. He's just too much good. But he has figured out like
guys like that aren't on books that run for 40 issues monthly. And so that was part of it. It's just that like we said, if Greg Smallwood was on a 40 issue monthly series, then he would probably be in that, but he's not. That's what made that book special. So I think he's just a title all of his own.
I tell you, I would rate a mainstream guy that and he sticks around and finishes, like I think sometimes Chris Samnee needs to knock it off.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just when we were getting like the 12th issue of Batman and Robin, like this guy, knock it off, Chris.
And before that, before that, he did do
Firepower.
like a lot of
Yeah.
issues of Firepower. It was probably
Yeah.
like 40 issues, so which is hardly comparatively people didn't read that book as much.
Yeah, which is, no, I know you were there the whole time.
But also, it was a different style. Batman is super dark and shadowy, which Firepower was more light and bright and actiony, and so it felt like a different, like the art in Batman and Robin is so dark and oppressive in the best possible way. Like the art we first saw on him when he came up, we'd see him at cons doing those shadow art drawings on his table. Like that's what I associate with him the most. And so that was yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I got nothing. I think Scalera stands alone.
It's tricky.
He's like the cheese.
I think of it and it makes me happy. It reminds me of like the Don Bluth art.
Yep.
Like it was that face, and I was trying to explain the Dragon Slayer game to my kids.
Long, like pointy noses.
Yep. Yeah. And I was like, why? Because my kid was playing a game and I was like, this just looks like animation. That's awesome. And I go, I used to always want that when I was a kid, but there was only one game. It was called Dragon Slayer. And it had this awesome animation, but you weren't really controlling the character. It was just like, go left when it says, hit the button when it says.
Right.
And I was like, and I never made it past the first thing ever.
Like what was it on?
It was an arcade game. Remember the Dragon Slayer arcade game?
Let me see.
You should, yeah. It was
1983. Oh yeah,
Dirk.
Yeah.
His name was Dirk, and so you go in and you have to go like left, right. It is Don Bluth, like it literally is.
Interesting. Oh yeah, it is Don Bluth.
Yeah, no, he's gorgeous. Like I whatever I was when I saw that, I was like, that looks awesome, and like as a little kid, and so when you see it later, and then you see Matteo Scalera doing sort of the best of that in the format that he needed to, and it was just perfect, so perfect.
Let's
that game was hard.
The other all those games are hard. The other email's pretty quick.
Did you mention that? Okay. Philip R says, which is scarier to the iFanboys, rats or Rebar? We're the Jamokes, by the way. iFanboy is our platform.
Yeah.
We are
that's what we're about.
Yeah. I've been thinking about this since I listened to episode 999. So that is when we learned. I feel like I have to explain it. It's been long enough. Rebar is the most terrifying inert substance and object on Earth.
That's because whenever you see it, someone's getting impaled on it.
I mean, or like, there's always a danger of it. Like if you trip and there's a piece of rebar sticking out of the ground, it's going through.
Right.
There's never been a medical or emergency fictional program where somebody didn't show up with rebar through them.
Right.
Because it's not the rebar does not yield. You know what I mean? Like the rebar is gonna,
and because it's pokey.
Yeah.
It's the
but
perfect
a little wiggly
size and because after you go through it, it wiggles.
Yeah.
And so that's terrible.
And we need rebar. I'm not here to tell you I want to live in a rebarless world, but
it would fall down around you. The problem with rats they are offensive.
And then we found out the most terrifying story about Connor's life in rats, which I told my wife about, and she was like, I was at that house. I was like, I know.
It made me a skin girl. So the rebar is something that you have to encounter. Well, I guess you could. Someone could. Well,
I think of the highway.
Rats. Yeah. Well,
you've been on like a bunch
Frankenheimer? What famous director died in a impalement on the highway?
Really?
Yeah, on the LIE. Rats come at you though. So that's the difference. You got to come at the rebar, but the rats come at you.
So I think rebar,
and there's more rats.
Rebar is like an existential threat.
Right.
Like it represents things that could go very wrong very quickly in a very serious way.
Sure.
It's unlikely. It's not going to jump at you.
But if rats took to the street, though, let's just say New York. If all the rats in New York took to the streets, the city would go down because there's way more rats than people.
Yeah. And it's that swarm thing.
Right.
Where like they like you don't
like when like one of those movies or whatever, they'll put like a rat on somebody's stomach and they'll cover them in a pail, and then but they'll start burning the pail so the rat.
They just did that. They just did that in Wonder Woman. It was the mouse.
Right. But I'm saying I've seen that in other things too. You know, where
Okay, so I mean, like, if you really said like you're gonna put me in a locked room, I'd rather have Rebar in there than rats. I mean, I
right.
guess.
Unless you were prone to tripping.
Yeah, but they're different types of primordial fear. Is what's going on there.
Yeah, I don't know if I can choose. I think if I had to choose, I would say Rebar is scarier because
Really?
I could fight a rat. I could slap a rat.
Well,
know?
okay. So here's the question, though. He says rats, plural.
Well, they're talking
One
about
rat
swarm,
you can deal with. Now,
like
if
a
you're
bunch of
talking
rats in a
about,
trench coat,
yeah, or like the thing like
or
in
like a
Ratatouille,
splinter-sized rat,
like in Ratatouille where they move like a wave,
or on the head.
Mhm. And they are inherently scary looking in the front.
They carry disease and they carry the plague. I don't know.
They do.
I still think Rebar, but it's close. It's close.
The thing is, as long as you get a tetanus shot and you keep your distance.
Well, yeah. Sometimes you're just walking along, you're tripping a banana peel, and a series of events ends with you impaled on a piece of rebar, and then you go into the ER. Mark Green's like, "How the fuck did this happen?" And then you're the guy that dies
When
because you just got engaged.
That's happened. I don't remember exactly the episode, but that did happen. And the problem with that is that you can't remove the rebar.
Right.
You can't just say take the rebar out. It's like, no, you'll die if we do that.
Any impalement, like we were watching somebody got shot with an arrow, and my wife's like, "Take it out." Like, no, you can't take the arrow out. If I ever get shot with an arrow, don't take it out. Like, you must understand this. In the case in the event that someone shoots with an arrow, do not remove the arrow.
How do you not know that? Do you know about the quicksand?
Not a lot of people get shot with arrows. Yeah, I mean, I really thought that there would be more quicksand in my life at this point, but I still have a intense inherent fear of it.
I just want to see some.
It's suffocating. I
just want to know where it is. Mud, sucking mud is scary.
That's the thing about quicksand. You never know where it is.
Yeah, that's true.
Thanks for writing in, guys. Deezer and Philip. We want to hear from you. Contact@iFanboy.com. That is how you get on the show. You can also get on our Media Explode show by writing and putting Media Explode on the subject line. Media Explode will return in January. So there you go. Let's talk about the schedule. Josh, you talk about the shows that just happened, and I'll talk about the holiday schedule.
All right. So last month, I did a Talk Explode with Canadian comic book artist Jason Fabok, who's working on there it goes.
The Rook Exodus
with Jeff Johns over at Ghost Machine.
Fabok.
He's done Batman for a long time. Last week, was it this past week or was it the one?
It was last week. That was gone. Yeah, it was this past week. Yeah,
Media Explode. We did the year-end mailbag.
It was fun. Super fun.
I have no recollection of doing that, but yeah.
Talked about music. Talked about college radio. Talked about G.I. Joe fighting predators.
Yeah, that is good stuff. Next week, there will. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, there will be a Talk Explode out on Thursday.
We can't tell you who it is because it hasn't been recorded yet, but it's scheduled.
Yep. I'm nope. I was going to say something about being confident, but I can't.
You get hoisted by your own petard if you do that
every time. Every time.
Now we are in mid-gen November, so that means it's time for the holiday schedule.
As the Irish used to say, mid-gen, which is this corridor.
So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more shows this year, 4 of which are picks of the week. So as Josh said, this coming Thursday, November 20th, of the Talk Explode, and then the 23rd we'll have pick of the week 1004. November 30th we'll have pick of the week 1005. That's the one after Thanksgiving. That might be a mess, and or may be late for the patrons. We'll see. Then that following Thursday, December 4th, we're going to have our special edition pick of the week 1000 emails show. So when we did the pick episode 1000, we ended up chatting more to the guests than answering emails. So we felt really bad about that. And as Ron promised on the show, and now we're doing, we were going to do a special edition show where we try to get as many of those emails answered as we can, because we do appreciate you taking the time to write in. So we didn't want to leave you neglected. So that's coming out December 4th. December 7th, pick of the week 1006. December 14th, pick of the week 1007. The final pick of the week of the year. The final pick of the week of the year, again, will be Sunday, December 14th. That's pick of the week 1007. That following Thursday, on December 18th, we'll have a book explode. And we decided what it's going to be. And it's maybe slightly puzzling, but it's going to be The Private Eye from Brian K. Vaughan and Marcos Martin and Munsa Vicente. That we did a Brian K. Vaughan book last time. We're doing another one. We'll explain why on the show itself, but the Privatizing will be the book split for December. And then finally on December 21st, as always, the final show of the year, the All Media Year and Roundup will happen right before your holiday time. Play it for your holiday parties. Play it Christmas morning. And we'll be back after our holiday break, which we need desperately, January 11th on Sunday for Pick the Week 1008. So we'll be reading the schedule every show until we finish, so you know what's coming and what's happening. Where are we? What's going on?
I don't know.
You can find our library of a whole lot of shows. I believe it's almost 1,500. We're very close to 1,500 in the feed. Over at iFanboy.com, wherever podcasts are sold. You'll never miss a show. Find out what the pick of the week is before the show comes out by following us at iFanboy Comics on Instagram and Threads, at iFanboy.com on Blue Sky. Individually, we are CS Kilpatrick on Instagram. I almost read it like Ron Burgundy. At J. Flanagan on Instagram. And don't miss our former writer, Jeff Reeves' video deep dives into forgotten comic book minutia every Tuesday and Friday. That's across our social channels and YouTube, every social channel but Blue Sky, because they allow only very short videos, and they're too big for Blue Sky. So take that.
Which is weird because that phrase generally means wide open. Whatever.
Very restrictive file sizes for Blue Sky.
Yeah.
Stupid, annoying.
Hey, you can do.
Yep.
Please. Okay, here's the deal. Yes, you want to leave reviews if possible. We would like you to do that, but. Listen, if you're out there and you have Pocket Cast, you need to understand something. If you want to leave a review there and you just go try to do it, well, brother and or sister, it's not going to work. You have to have a few downloaded. You have to have listened to it.
It's the way it works.
Rate it.
It's the way of the world.
Don't just go blundering into Pocket Cast thinking that you're going to leave a review. I'm sorry. I'm so bored of
Josh
saying
is very angry about Pocket Cast, very emotional about it. Feels very passionate about your ability to rate and review. And don't get him started. He'll go for hours about it.
Subscribe to youtube.com/iFanboy, where I'm going to say it's a 30-minute deep dive rant into the Pocket Cast issue that I do once a week.
He's pulling back the curtain on Pocket Cast.
youtube.com/iFanboy. You can watch the video version of this show. You can watch all of our special edition shows as appropriate. Jeff Reed videos that Connor just talked about are on there. You can find all of the old video shows when we were making them.
Young and fit and dewy-eyed, dewy-skinned, and wearing shorts and talking nonsense.
I don't take any responsibility for things I said then. If you come to me and you're like, I watched this and you said you were wrong about
which people have said. People come back to us. It happened on episode 1000. Somebody came back at Ron after something you said 10 years ago, which was hilarious.
You were wrong about that. And I was like, I don't doubt you. The only difference is now I'm sure I'm wrong. So there it is. Finally, there's the iFanboy after show exclusively to patrons at the $10 or higher level, where we will talk about the comic books that we read but did not talk about on this big show.
Gonna be a weird one.